Good morning. My name is Paula Cox, and I'm here to do a book review on Primal Leadership, written by Daniel Goleman, Richard Baiartes, and Annie McKee. I will have some handouts available for you at the end of this presentation, and also a time to answer any questions that you might have. We'll start with the authors. Daniel Goleman is a psychologist who has worked with the New York Times, writing articles about brain and behavioral sciences. He is the author of the international bestseller, Emotional Intelligence and Working with Emotional Intelligence. He's a visiting faculty member at Harvard University. He's the chairman of the Conservatorium for Social and Emotional Learning in the Workplace at Rutgers University. He's received 2 nominations for the Pulitzer Prize. He is the Care Achievement Award winner from the American Psychological Association, and he's a fellow for the American Association of the Advancement of Science. Richard Baiartes is a professional organizational behavior. He is the chair of the Department of Organizational Behavior at the Weatherhead School of Management at Case Western University. He's held many distinguished positions in the past: Associate Dean for Executive Education Programs at Weatherhead, previous President and CEO for McBair and Company, and previous COO for Yankelevich, Skelly and White. He's a current board member for the Hay Group, and he's written a couple of books and numerous articles related to motivation, behavioral changes, and development of the managers and leaders. That leads us to Annie McKee. She's a faculty member at the Pennsylvania Graduate School of Education, professor at Wharton School Arresti Institute of Executive Education. She's served in the role as a business and leadership consultant for organizations really internationally, and currently for the Hay Group as well. She's the managing director of the Center for Professional Development, University of Pennsylvania, and she too has well published, writing numerous articles on emotional intelligence and corporate education and development. So, the purpose of Primal Leadership was to examine the use of emotional intelligence to develop primal leadership in the workplace and in leaders. It defines the role of emotional intelligence as a leadership strategy, and it defines that the fundamental task of leaders is to interact with their employees to pull positive emotions and to make a physiological connection to them, and to bring those positive emotions out into the workplace to achieve better productivity and outcomes. It's to inspire leaders to develop their emotional intelligence, and to also develop the emotional intelligence in their leaders at their units. So the target audience, of course, is going to be leaders, and then educators who educate our leaders. Strengths of this book: it's well written. It's very clear, it's concise, it defines emotional intelligence in a way that's easy to understand. It uses tables and diagrams. It has lists of behaviors associated with the emotional intelligence, and so you can measure up, how folks are doing in your organization. And it gives examples of emotional intelligence in action, and that is very good and very helpful. Although I will also list that as a weakness, because it is also sometimes redundant and kind of bogs down the reader in the pages. Other weaknesses would include, it talks about a specific developmental process to instill emotional intelligence and primal leadership into your institution, but it's not really clear on exactly how that works and how you sustain that. So I would list that as a weakness. It also relies on the idea of the primal leader as the independent reason for success of a leader. It doesn't really allow for those other characteristics that we know make great leaders. So would I recommend this book? Absolutely. It's a good read. It's quick. It's easy to read. I would recommend it for all new leaders and those looking to develop their emotional intelligence in themselves and the leaders around them. I would use it for struggling organizations who are trying to enhance or build positive cultures in the workplace. I think it has a lot of value for that group. And then again, the graphs and the reference charts are really, really helpful into determining whether or not you've instilled that into your organization. Achieve the objectives of offering compelling evidence that primal leadership is key to the success of the leader in the organization. It offered convincing research that there is a physiological connection between the primal leader and their employee to develop positive outcomes and develop resonance. And it supports a self-directed approach to teach and incorporate emotional intelligence into your organization and to the leaders in your organization. Thank you. That's it. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I appreciate your time.